Hello friends, welcome to this new video on Talkative Anjali. The prep is ready and I'm waiting for you to join me. And what you see is we have Bhendi, which has been selected in the small size from the 1 kg Bhendi that I had bought. If you have seen my Insta story, I made I bought a kilo of Bhendi and then made 3 types of Bhendi couple of days ago, and then these small ones I had selected for making Bharit, as we call it, or Bharli Bhendi. And this is a typical Kori recipe. So what are the ingredients that we require? We require small bhendi about 2-3 inches size, and we wash it, dry it with a cloth, and then slit it in the center. Then chop up onions. They should be roughly chopped, not very fine. And then also usually we use fresh copra, but since I don't have fresh copra, the next best thing is dried copra. So I have this is actually quite juicy for dried copra, and probably it is from one of the coconuts which has dried at home, so it has that little bit of juiciness in it. And so I've chipped it off, and then there is kothimber. Now in this masala, all that will go besides this is green chilies and jeera, nothing else, or a little bit of a quarter or half teaspoon of haldi. So this is the basic kanda and coconut, cobra, and this chutney which is made and stuffed into the bhendi. So there is our jar. Now I'm going to first cook the onion, and then along with it allow the coconut also fry up for 5 minutes, and then add the kothimber and this into the mixie jar, and then we will stuff it and cook it. So let's proceed. So I have put up the pan on the gas, and to this I'm going to add about a teaspoon of oil. Just a teaspoon is enough. So a teaspoon of oil, and then I'm going to add the onions into it. We will cook them until translucent, so that the raw smell goes off. We are going to use the same pan to fry the bhendi later on, saute rather, or shallow fry. Add the chipped coconut into it. I have used about 3 onions, 3 small sized onions, and about 4-5 inches of coconut, dry coconut. So that looks good. Now I'm going to stop the video at this point and allow this mixture to cool, and later we will grind it. But before we do that, let's add the cumin and the haldi. So because this masala does not have too much of dry masalas in it, we are going to add haldi, quarter teaspoon, and cumin we are going to be a little generous, so I will add about flat 1 teaspoon of cumin. There, that's 1 chili in the masala. So let me stop at this point and we will come back to grind the masala once it has cooled off. Okay, so we are back. The masala has fried masala has cooled. So now we are transferring it into the jar, mixie jar, and going to grind it. So first we will put the chopped coriander so that it doesn't wind up against the blade, and then we will add this. So we have put the masala into the grinder jar. And I'm going to add a spoon of salt into it. I'm also going to add a few petals of kokum to give it a nice coastal tang. So 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 5. So 5 pieces of kokum. Those petals are not full actually, almost like half petals. So depending on the juiciness of the petals, you decide how much you want to go and put into it. So now this is going to be ground. I'm adding a bit of water to this masala because it's not grinding properly. Okay, looks good to me. So we're going to remove the jar. Okay. And now we are going to, so let's check once more. Okay, the masala looks nicely ground, and we are going to stuff the slit bhendi and come back. So I have now filled up all the bhendi with the masala, and I realized that the masala is still a little coarser than I like it. When you grind, make sure it should be a little more finer, or use grated coconut. Chipped coconut is really difficult to grind. So, but anyways, I don't mind a little bit of bite. Now getting back to the pan, start the gas and put in oil, about 4 teaspoons of oil, and then we will put in these bhendi for shallow frying. Actually put in a thin layer of oil to cover the bottom of the pan. This is a small pan. It's the omelette pan which I used to use for my husband. Now we will arrange the bhendi in it. There you see I have arranged all the bhendi in the pan, and right now it is slow. The gas is slow. So I'm going to increase it to medium and let it shallow fry, and then I will toss these bhendi. They will shrink a little bit and make more space. So not to worry. Give it a little stir, or a shake rather. How beautiful it looks, and it smells so good. In this, though in the Kolistyle we do not use any other masala except the green, coriander and jeera and this. So it's almost like a chutney, but and with haldi and cumin seeds. But you can actually use any of your community masalas if you want it to have a stronger fragrance. We'll allow this to cook a bit. Okay, so the bhendi look partially cooked, so I'm going to flip it. Nice. What I'm doing is I'm moving the center ones to the side and pulling in the ones on the side in the middle. At this point, I can actually cover the bhendi and cook. They look nicely done, but I'm going to allow them to cook further, and I'm going to cover it. So I've got a lid. I'm going to cover it for about 5 minutes before I put off the gas. So the last stage now, this has been covered for about more than 5 minutes actually. I went to serve my dinner, and I have made pav bhaji today, so I went to serve that so that I can go down and go and sit down and enjoy my pav bhaji. Okay, so that looks beautifully done, and the caramelizing of the masala will continue. Lovely. I have achieved what I wanted, except that the masala would have been more finer. So that is my Bharli Bhendi, or Kolistyle, what we call Bhendyacha Bharit.